Monday, everyone. I get lost in the song. I love that song by Ebony Gibson. I heard that she actually lives up in Flint, Michigan, hoping to meet her soon one day and let her know just how much her song has impacted my life. Hoping that you all had an amazing weekend. And you know what today is. Today is Monday, and on Mondays, all roads lead to book club. And as you're logging on, you know what to do. If you've been here before, you know to let us know in the chat, in the comments, where are you logging in from? What city, what state, and or what country may you be logging in from? If you're brand new, we need you to let us know that this is your first time. Say, I'm a newbie. It's my first time here. We want to welcome you to our book club. We're here every single Monday, unless there's a major holiday like Christmas. We wouldn't be here, right? New Year's, we wouldn't be here. Something like that. But most times our book clubbers are like, oh no, we're meeting. If I'm willing to meet, they're willing to meet. If they're willing to meet, I'm willing to meet. So happy to be here. You all, let me tell you something. I literally all day on Mondays, I'm excited about book club. And there are so many reasons why. We right now have time to go ahead and put those hashtags in the comments: BookTube, Goodreads, and BookTok. Hashtag BookTube, hashtag Goodreads, hashtag BookTok. We want to attract more people who love reading, and or maybe they don't like reading. Maybe that's why we invite them, right? Maybe they don't like reading, or maybe they don't even understand the importance of personal development and growth. So I have a gift, and the gift that I have is to get you into the mind of the reader. And we're hoping that before we're done this book, that Brianna Weiss, we're calling you out. Somebody ought to tag her to this, right? We need to tag her to all of our posts on Instagram and Facebook, letting her know that we want her to come in and give us a visit. On book club, we want her to know how much this book has impacted our lives. Perhaps we can do a StreamYard and we'll stream it live on a Monday if we can get Brianna Weiss to give us 5 minutes of her time, because we want her to know how this book is helping us overcome this big mountain, this huge mountain of self-sabotage. So why is book club important? Number one, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. And so I am here on Mondays to read the books for you to fill your cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Number two, leaders are readers. And if you desire to lead in any capacity, reading is the way. It's going to open the door. It's going to open up the mind of your imagination. It's going to open up your knowledge. It's going to literally pour in the things that are not there for you to become the person that you are not right now in order to handle the capacity of who you need to become. And then number three, we will never earn more than we learn. And honestly, we're finding through this book of self-sabotage that until we are willing to let it go, type in the word, something is on my lip, until we are willing to let it go. And I want y'all to type that in the chat. Something was on my lip. Let it go. It'll block our money. It'll block our growth. It'll block blessings. It'll block when we are holding on to trauma and baggage. It's a blocker. Okay. And so we're going to let it go. And so we are smack dab into chapter 5. And we've read quite a bit. We're talking about releasing the past. Chapter 5. And I want to go ahead and get into it. Let's get into it, right? Because we want to finish chapter 5 so that we're starting chapter 6 next week. And there are only, if I'm not mistaken, let me make sure I'm not quoting it incorrectly. We only have, I think we only have 9 chapters of this book? Yeah. Wait a minute. 7 chapters? I think we only have 7 chapters, and we're on chapter 5. We're going to end chapter 5. We'll be on chapter 6. And I think what I might do next week, either next week or the week after, is I will go ahead and let you know where we're going to the next book that we're going to after we finish The Mountain Is You. Congratulations to those of you who have been brave enough to come back every single week. If you have not missed 1 week of The Mountain Is You, let me see it in the comments. Let me see who's been brave enough to be here with us every single Monday. The Ultimate Seeker's Guide for those brave enough to face their true north and to take their power back. Hello, Barbara. Remember, if this is your first time, let us know that you are a newbie so that we can welcome you to the community, right? So we're going to let go of unrealistic expectations. It is not that brave to say that you love your body only after you've contorted it to precisely what you want it to look like. Now, Paul, why the book got a like jab, jab, uppercut from the first sentence of the, like, literally, y'all? It's almost like when we think we're going to get like a little bit of a reprieve, the first line of this new part of this chapter, because we're in chapter 5, it is not brave. It's not that brave that to say that you love your body only after you've contorted it to precisely what you want it to look like. Sheesh. It is not that brave to say that you don't care about possessions when you have access to everything in the world. It is not that brave to say that you aren't motivated by money when you have enough of it. When you only find happiness and peace after you fixed every flaw, mastered every challenge, and are living decidedly in the after part of the picture of your life, you have not resolved anything. You have only reinforced the idea that you cannot be okay until everything is perfect. The truth is that you do not change your life when you fix every piece and call that healing. You change your life when you start showing up exactly as who you are. You change your life when you become comfortable with being happy here, even if you want to go forward. You change your life when you can love yourself, even though you don't look exactly the way you want to. You change your life when you are principled about money and love and relationships, when you treat strangers as well as you do your CEO, and when you manage $1,000 the same way you would 10,000. You change your life when you start doing the truly scary thing, which is showing up exactly as you are. You know, I was just talking about the fact that I wore a mask. I wore a mask. And so when I was 300 pounds, 260 pounds, 250 pounds, I wore a mask. And I decided I decided a little bit before 2014, but 2014 was like a definite decision, like a definite line that I drew in the sand that I was like, enough is enough. That I was taking the mask off, and I took my social media followers, because that's really all that I had. Social media was like a brand new phenomenon, like it was really big or getting big at that time. There was what was the one that we Periscope? So we started using Periscope, right? There was MySpace first. And then from MySpace, we went to Facebook, and then Twitter, and Periscope started. Periscope was getting real crazy, so I stopped using Periscope. But I started chronicling my journey live, telling people the transparent truth about where I was. And so this is 100% accurate, because it is when people saw that I was authentic about who I was, that I wasn't trying to hide like I was this perfect person. No, here am I, flaws and all, but I have a desire to get better, and I want you guys to hold me accountable on this journey. And I mean, hey, is there anybody else that wants to go through this journey with me so that you don't have to do it alone? And I invited people onto the journey with me. They saw that I didn't seesaw. No, I was serious about it. Serious, because you can't take somewhere where you're not going, where you can't take anyone else somewhere that you are not going yourself. And so people saw that I was serious about my journey. I took the mask off and was transparent. I stopped calling it stuff like I was fluffy or big boned. No, I was fat and non-disciplined. And when I began to tell my truth, taking the mask off, And I didn't make great financial decisions. My credit score wasn't the greatest, but it got great between 2014 and 2016 and 17. Great improvements as I began to pay my bills more than on time and all in full. I really created and developed better habits, and I started being honest about my truth. But some of y'all, that's what's wrong. You trying to act like everything is okay, and it's not. It's not okay. Tell your truth and people will follow you. Tell your truth and people will respect you. So you change your life when you start doing the truly scary thing, which is showing up exactly as you are. I started showing up exactly as who I was. Most of the problem that exists in our lives are distractions from the real problem. Which is that we are not comfortable in the present moment as we are here and now. So we must heal that first. We must address that initially because everything else builds from it. Whoop, whoop. In the chat, light it up. Because, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We got to heal from that first. Heal from having to hide. Heal from having to fake. Heal from, no, you don't have to do it. You choose to do it. Heal from faking the game. Heal from trying to make people believe that things are better than they are. Heal from it. We must be brave enough to confront our discomfort. Sit with it, even if it churns our stomachs and pinches our faces and makes us certain that we will never find a way out, because we will. We must listen to what's wrong, feel it, move through it, allow it to be. The truth is that discomfort is the true problem. And we are running around trying to fix one thing after another because those are all just symptoms. If we become okay with money, then we're onto our bodies. If we're okay with our bodies, then we're onto our relationships. Once we master all the things we care about, we start at the beginning. We try to level up, to change, to fix, to identify a problem that is any problem but the actual problem at hand. When you start showing up exactly as who you are, you start radically changing your life. You ever hear a person that start talking, they be like, oh my God, I'm so happy. And they look like this. Oh my God, I'm so happy. And you're looking at them like, what? How about this? This is what I tell people all the time. Why don't you try smiling? Like, try smiling and it will at least sound like you're happy. Oh my God, I'm so happy. But when you smile, oh my God, I'm so happy, you can't even help but to sound like you're happy. Try it. But you start changing your life. Listen to this. Not only do you start changing your life, you start receiving authentic love. When you become authentic, you start receiving authentic. You start doing your best and most profitable and effortless work. What I do, y'all, is effortless. You can ask Paul. Literally, it looks like it's just effortless because I'm authentic. I am authentic. People know I'm authentic because I'm willing to say the hard things. I'm willing to do the hard things. And I am super authentic. And it looks like it's super simple because I've mastered being authentic. And it's effortless. It's almost like when you see somebody singing and you're like, how did that just come out of there like vocal cords like that? And it just looks so effortless because it's just authentically who they are. You start laughing, you start enjoying things again. You start realizing that you just needed anything to project all of this fear onto. So you choose the most vulnerable and common issues in life. When you start showing up exactly as you are, you cut the BS. That's what the book says. It says the word, but I ain't gonna say it. All right? When you start showing up exactly as you are, you cut the crap. You declare to the world that you will not only love yourself when it sees you as worthy, you will not only have values when you have everything you could ever need, you will not only be principled once you get where you want to be, you will not only be happy once someone loves you, When you show up as you are, you disrupt this pattern. The goodness of life is no longer reserved for some version of you that you'll probably never be. This was always a game for you to explain to yourself why it is you didn't feel good naturally before you knew how to start showing up and allowing your feelings. When you still lived in the darkness, you had to suppress that and project it onto others' issues. No longer. You are showing up as you are today and taking what's yours, not what belongs to some imaginary version of yourself, not what you think the world thinks you're worthy of. You are here. You're here now. That is the true healing. In fact, the universe does not allow perfection. Without breaks and gaps, there would be no growth. Nature depends on imperfection. Fault lines make mountains. Star implosions become supernovas. And the death of one season creates the rebirth of the next. I am committed to constantly evolving, reinventing myself if that needs be. But the one thing I'm going to always do is show up. It doesn't matter what's happening in my life. I am always going to show up. Always, because I'm authentically going to show up. It's funny. I was reading a message from one of our teammates who recently lost her mom, and I believe the homegoing is this week. And it's funny because she lost her mom transitioned, and after her mom transitioned, we noticed this this energy in her business. She's almost binary qualified. And she messaged me and she said, I'm on power hours. I'm doing these posts. I'm adding new people. She said, for a long time, I was afraid of adding people that I didn't know, but I'm coming out of my shell and coming out of my comfort zone. She said, I'm within the last few steps of burying my mom, but I'm still working. She said, because I want this. And honestly, y'all, I left her a voice memo because I just needed her to know, I am super proud of you. That you're deciding to make your mom proud in her legacy, in her remembrance, versus dying in the grave. You're deciding to use that as the fuel to push you forward, to catapult you to this next place in your life. She's the one having to do everything. But even in the midst of it all, where you couldn't figure out how to do anything for your business, now you're like, hey, I got a customer. Hey, I got some sales. Hey, I got a person in. And you're doing it in spite of. And I am so proud because she's finding a way in the midst of it to reinvent herself, to evolve. She's not just showing up today saying, right? You're showing up as you are today and taking what's not yours, not what belongs to some imaginary version of yourself. That's true healing. In fact, the universe doesn't allow perfection, right? You are not here to live up to the exact expectation that you've mastered up in your head. You are not here to do everything precisely right and precisely on time. To do so would require stripping your life of spontaneity, curiosity, and all. But what leaves the path is clearing the path. What leaves the path is clearing the path. There is nothing that you can do to win someone or something that is not meant to be yours. You can fight with everything that you have. You can hold on for as long as you can. You can force yourself into mental gymnastics to pick apart signs. You can have your friends read into texts and emails. You can decide that you know what's best for you and right for you. Mostly, you can wait. You can wait forever. What isn't right for you will never remain in your life. Think about it. The person that's always talking about the breakup that they had, they haven't been healed from it. It's been 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. They still talking about it. But what isn't right for you will never remain in your life. There is no job, no person or city that can you can force to be right for you if it is not. Though you can pretend for a while, you can play games with yourself, you can justify and make ultimatums, you can say you'll try just a little longer, and you can make excuses for why things aren't working out right now. The truth is that what is right for you will come to you and stay with you and won't stray from you for long. The truth is that when something is right for you, it brings you clarity. And when something is wrong for you, it brings you confusion. You get stuck when you try to make something that's wrong for you right. When you try to force it into a place in your life that it doesn't belong. You get split. You breed this internal conflict which you cannot resolve. The more it intensifies, the more you mistake it for passion. How could you ever feel so strongly about something that just isn't right? You can, because you can use your mind to get attached. You can fall in love with potential as opposed to reality. Oop. People always say to me, but you know, such and such got potential. Okay, but it is not reality. Potential is not reality. And until it's reality, there's nothing to talk about. Everybody got potential. My dog got potential, but it ain't reality. Right? You can orchestrate and choreograph dances of how you live out your days when things finally settle into their rightful place. You can hinge on a fantasy life in which everything you think you want has taken root in your everyday life. But if it isn't showing up, it's just that, a fantasy. And when we start so deeply to believe in an illusion, it becomes a delusion. Uh-oh. When we start to believe in an illusion, it becomes a delusion. And a delusion can be a really compelling thing. The truth is that what is not right for you will never remain with you. Though you might want to pretend that you don't know if this is the case, you do. You can feel it. It's why you have to grip so hard and with so little give. The things that are right for you can be free from you. You don't have to convince them that they are right. You don't have to line up the evidence as they're pleading your case. Sometimes we get lost in old dreams. We get lost in the lives others want us to have. We get stuck on what we thought we should be, what we assumed we would have. We get derailed by all the ideas floating around our heads about what it could be and should be if only things were different, if only things would click. That's why life gives us this kind of insurance. Sometimes it pulls away from us what is wrong for us when we are not willing to see it for ourselves. Because the truth is that we do not want what is not right for us. We are simply attached to it. We are simply afraid. We are simply stuck in the assumption that nothing better will replace it. That its absence will open up a well of endless, infinite suffering for which there will be no solution. We do not want what is not right for us. We are just scared to let go of what we believe will make us secure. Woo! The funny part is, there is nothing that makes us more insecure than hanging around what isn't right for us. There's nothing that will collapse faster. There's nothing that will bring us inner turmoil quite like it. What is not right for you will never remain in your life. And not because there are forces beyond us navigating the minutia of everyday lives. What is not right for you will not remain with you because deep down, you know it's not right. You are the one who eventually lets go, sees reality and walks away. You are the one resisting. You are the one holding back. You are the one concocting healing fantasies about how great it will be when you force something wrong to finally be right. What is not right for you does not remain with you because you don't want it. And so you don't choose it. You step away when you are ready. You let go when you are able. And you realize all along that all you were really in love with was the little trick of light that made you feel safe. So people stay in relationships that they know they shouldn't be in so that they're not alone. The little trick of light. Recovering from emotional trauma. You might think trauma is in your head in a metaphorical sense. It is actually in your body in a literal sense. Trauma is what happens when something scares you and you do not get over that fear. If you do not resolve or defeat it, you get into and remain in a sustained state of fight or flight, which is essentially the human panic response for survival. Trauma is the experience of disconnecting from a fundamental feeling of safety. Unless you are able to reestablish the connection, a particularly destructive bias distorts your worldview. You become hypersensitive, which means that you will ascribe intent, overthink, overreact, become triggered by innocuous stimuli, personalized neutral situations, and remain in a mental combat mode. So some of you are always exhausted. You know, you're always exhausted, not just because of the physical weight you carry. Because, see, when you're carrying physical weight, you're exhausted. But you're exhausted because you're in combat mode. Your mind is all over the place because you're warring. Trauma. After experiencing trauma, your brain will rewire itself temporarily to seek out the potential threat in anything. So now you're on guard all the time. Now you got your guard up. Now you can't even be who you really need to be because you're on guard. Potential threat in anything, which makes it very difficult to both move on from the initial problem and then not to develop a victim complex. After all, your brain is literally trying to show you every imaginable way the world could be out to get you because you're still holding on to trauma, triggers. This is why exposure is so effective as a treatment for fear or anxiety. By gradually reintroducing the stressor into someone's life and showing them that they are able to handle it, the brain is able to return to a neutral state because of a feeling of control and security is being reestablished. This is also why people who have stronger social ties and mental resilience prior to a traumatic event are more likely to use the event as a catalyst for self-reflection, growth, compassion, and healing as opposed to self-destruction. That's almost like a person in church every Sunday. We all hear the same word. The word that is preached that could literally, if we allow it to, free us from a lot of our situations. But that ain't enough. We want to now go sit down and have a meeting with the pastor because we want him to discuss now the same stuff that the pastor just preached about on Sunday. And the last Sunday, and the last Sunday, and the last Sunday, and the last, as if somebody has to give you permission to heal. Like, doggone it, if it was a snake, it would bite you. How about you be like Jesus when he said, take up your bed and walk. I gave you what? I healed you already. And you're still sitting there outside of the gate with a tin can banging, begging for scraps when God is like, I healed you from that. Why do you keep going back to your vomit? Get up. You've been healed. What are you waiting for? Or do you like what it feels like when people think you're broken and wounded? You like the attention you get. You're healed. Say, I'm healed in the comments. I am healed. What happens to your brain after a traumatic event? Neurologically, we process stress in three parts of the brain. The first is the amygdala. The second is the hippocampus. And the third is prefrontal cortex. Individuals suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, have a small hippocampus, the center of emotion and memory, increased amygdala function, which is the center of rumination and creativity, and decreased medial prefrontal anterior cingulate function, the center that governs complex behaviors like planning and self development. It becomes clear then why trauma tends to have the following impact on us. Our brains stop processing memory fully, leaving us with fragments of what happened, sometimes contributing to the feelings of disassociation. Our ability to manage a range of emotions decreases. We become stifled. We become stifled and stuck, have trouble planning for the future, and our self development and actualization come to a halt. When we enter a stage of fight or flight, our body literally ceases any advanced function that is not necessary for our survival. The body's main receptors become extremely sensitive and reactive to stimuli. This is a beautiful and essential part of being human. It's kept us alive as a species. However, it is not a state that is meant to be sustained. I am healed. We talked about it last week, I believe it was, and the week before, last week it was, that we got to speak to that person. We got to speak to that little girl. We got to speak to that little boy that was traumatized, that dealt with some chaos, so that we can help that little boy and that little girl, talk to them and tell them it's going to be all right. You're going to make it through this, and mentor that young person through, meaning the imaginary. You got to let it out. You talk about it. I'm healed. I'm letting this go. I'm no longer going to allow this to be my handicap. I'm no longer going to allow this to be my Achilles heel. I'm no longer going to allow this to be my thing, my crutch, the thing that I keep going back to. I'm no longer going to eat the vomit. I'm going to take up my bed and walk because I am healed. I'm healed. Centuries ago, when we were at the lower rung of actualization on the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy, what concerned us most was physical survival. Today, our focus is primarily on self-actualization and meaningfulness and trying to feel safe through social acceptance, money, or mental acuity. Here's what's so crazy. Most people aren't even out dealing with people anymore. Y'all go to work, you go home. There's no social life. The most social you are is on social media. And you mad at something somebody posted as if it's real. I am healed. Who even said that what that person posted was about you? But if you're healed and you take up your bed and walk, you won't even feel like something that somebody's posted was about you. But guess what? If it is about you, then get healed. So what? Maybe we should change the perception that God allowed or used that person to put up a post so that you could see yourself. Thank you, Lord. I didn't really recognize that in me, but now that I see this post, that shoe could fit me. Lord, help me to heal. That is me. That is me. That is me. Instead of always pointing our fingers at somebody else, thinking it's somebody else. Sitting up in church hearing the word for everybody else but you. I am healed. With all of this gray area, it seems obvious that more people would be mentally and emotionally struggling than they did prior, despite having more physical challenges to overcome. We don't even have all the physical challenges we had to overcome back in the day. And we act more crippled and more handicapped. Do you know what I believe? Paul and I talked about this the other day. Boy, the disciples and Jesus and all of them had to be some strong mugs, boy. They had some strong feet and some strong skin. They walked everywhere. They had to be physically fit. We jumping in our cars, jumping in Ubers and Lyfts and taxis and planes and trains and automobiles. They walk to other countries, over the mountains, through the water. And y'all complaining? Because you're going to drive your car down a mile or two to go somewhere? We wouldn't even make it back in the day. We want God to do all of these magnificent things in our lives, but we crumble. We crumble at a post that we think somebody put up about us. How handicapped is that? I am healed. Recovery comes down to something very simple, which is restoring the feeling of one's safety. However, the most important part of this restoration is that you must reestablish a feeling of safety in the exact area of life that traumatized you. Often, if someone is traumatized by a relationship they had when they were young, they will reinvest that energy into valuing being attractive or successful to them. They believe that if they are good enough, they can never be denied or rejected again. However, we all know that this is not how this works. It actually makes us have unhealthy and destructive attachments to these things. If we are traumatized by a relationship, we restore the feeling of safety by working on other healthy, safe relationships. If we were traumatized by money, we restore the feeling of safety by doing what we must to ensure that we have enough and by saving for an emergency expense. I said, I'm never, ever going to, in my life, never, ever have at least $1,000 at my disposal. Not ever, ever again another day of my life. Not ever. Like, we got to stop being that person that can't save $5. Like, just think about it. If we put up $20 a week, just don't spend it. I'm never ever, because I'm never ever going to be at that place where there's some kind of an emergency and there's nothing there. Nothing. I'm never going to be that person again. If we were traumatized by a job loss, we restore the feeling of safety by having a black backup plan or a side gig in line in case it were to happen again, which is why so many plan Bs have now turned into people's plan As. If we are traumatized by being bullied, we restore the feeling of safety by finding new friends. What most people try to do is overcompensate in an area of life that is not the real problem. For example, if they struggled in relationships, they hoard money to keep themselves feeling safe. Uh-oh. Of course, there is always futile because the problem never gets solved. Of course, this is always, right? Your trauma is not in your head. It is literally a changed state in your brain. And the only way you will help your body to return to its actual state is by recreating the feeling of safety that allows you to turn off survival mode and return to normal life. So how do we release? Everybody take a deep breath, because this is heavy. And I'm the one reading it. It's heavy. Take a deep breath. Like, just breathe. Just breathe. Let's see. We got quite a few more pages of this. Let me see. How many more pages of chapter? I don't know. Are we going to make it? What's my time looking like? I don't know. We'll see. We're getting close. Releasing emotional backlog. Your emotional backlog is like your email inbox. Lord have mercy. My email inbox is horrific. I really be trying to delete them things, but woo-wee, your emotional backlog is like your email inbox. It might be a simple analogy, but it's an effective one. When you experience emotions, it's as though you're getting little messages from your body stacking up one at a time. If you don't ever open them, you end up with 1,000 plus notifications, deep, totally overlooking crucial information and important insights that you need to move your life forward. At the same time, you can't sit around all day and respond to every message just as it comes up. You never get anything done. It is a mistake to assume that emotions are optional experiences, because they are not. But we are masters of avoiding our feelings, and we do it in so many ways. Often, we rely on substances that physically numb us, projections and judgments that place the attention on someone else's faults as opposed to our own. All kinds of other worldly pursuits, and on the most basic level, tensing our bodies up so efficiently that we are rendered incapable of feeling. Psychologically, you'd probably know that this doesn't work for long. The backlog starts to jam eventually. Like right now, my email saying your storage is full. Some of us need to delete. And you know how when it comes up and it says delete, hey, we're just warning you that if you delete this, it's going to be gone forever. You will not be able to recover it. Delete all. Type in delete all in the chat. Delete all. Because I've been going to the emails and just deleting it. Delete, 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 delete. I wish there was some poetic, mythical truth to share here. Oh, wait, you are forced to sit and be still and sleep and cry and feel it all. I wish there was some poetic, mythical truth to share here, but there isn't. There is only your anatomy, the physiology of what's happening inside you when you feel. Emotions are physical experiences. We flush our bodies of everything, and regularly so. We defecate, we sweat, we cry, we literally shed our entire skin once a month. Feelings are no different. They are experiences that must likewise be released. When not felt, emotions become embodied. They become literally stuck in your body. This is because they have something called a motor component, which means that the minute they begin, before you can suppress or ignore them, they create a micromuscular activation. Delete it all. Delete, 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 delete. Our bodies are responding instantaneously. We often store pain. We store tension in the area of the body where an expression began but never fully materialized. Would y'all like to know where we store that pain and tension? Let me see if you know. 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 Not in the heart. In the belly. In the belly. It's physical. Remember, we're talking about this being physically, like it is physical. We're wearing the trauma. It's in the belly. All right here. It's in the belly. It's in the gut, which is why you're always like, oh, I feel it in my gut. You know, when things happen, you start feeling like, oh, like you're going to throw up. It's in the gut. It's your second brain. It's in the gut. People think they just get bloated for nothing. No, you're bloated because you're stressed. Release it. It's in the gut. I am healed. Delete, 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 delete. We gotta delete it so that the next time something happens to us, we can let it go, let it go, let it go. Delete. We gotta release it. Emotions are physical experiences. We flush our bodies of everything, and regularly so. We defecate, we sweat, we cry, we literally shed our entire skin once a month. Did you know that? Feelings are no different. They are experiences that must likewise be released. When not felt emotions become embodied, they become literally stuck in your body. Our bodies respond. We often store pain and tension in the area of our bodies where an expression began but never was fully materialized. This is because, neurologically speaking, the part of your brain that regulates your emotions, the anterior cingulate, is next to the perimeter premotor area, which means that when a feeling is processed, it immediately begins to generate a physical bodied response. Wait, 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 wait. Stress, inflammation, swelling. Your organs start not acting right. Holding on. I don't hold on to nothing. If I'm feeling it, I'm saying it. Now, I might wait to a more responsible time or when I can say it more responsibly. Now, ask Paul, maybe a couple years ago, I wasn't like that. A couple years ago, I was just going to say it. Lash out the whole nine. But now I'm more responsible and I wait until I can say it. Hey, I really didn't I need to say something to you. And usually when I say that to him, I'm not even asking for a conversation. I'm not. Like, I need to say something to you. This is the way this made me feel because it was my reality. It doesn't mean it's the way he meant it. But this is my reality. I didn't like X, Y, and Z. I ain't holding on to nothing. No, let it go. Right? And this is because neurologically speaking, the part of your brain that regulates emotions, the anterior cingulate, right? The premotor area connects to the motor cortex and then spans back into the specific muscles that are going to express the emotion. Which muscles express the emotion? Well, it depends. We have a lot of language that clues us into where we have physical reactions to emotions. We often feel fear in our stomachs. Think of a nervous stomach or a gut instinct. And heart attack in our chest. That's where the whole broken heart thing comes from. Stress and anxiety in your shoulders when you're feeling the weight of the world in your shoulders. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, physically where you are right now, roll your shoulders and hold it. Hold it. And let it go, let it down. And roll your shoulders, go forward and then go backwards. Seriously, do it right where you are. Go ahead and turn your head, your neck, let it go. You should feel stress relieving right now. Take a deep breath, in. Blow it out. Because some of you aren't even breathing. You should be hearing snap, crackle, pop, but you should feel so much better. And you'll find that if you just do that a few times through the day, you're going to start losing weight and waste that's just literally stuck up in your body. Stress and anxiety is in your shoulders. Think of the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and relationship problems in the neck because they are a pain in the neck. But it actually goes deeper than this. Let's say that someone did something to you that crossed a boundary and your instinct was to yell at them. However, because you understood it was not effective to literally scream, you held back. Though this may have been the right thing to do in the moment, your body may be storing residual tension in the neck or the throat area. In other cases, people can experience psychosomatic effects of their emotions that are a bit more abstract, such as pain in their knees or feet when they are traumatized by moving forward in their lives, and so on. The truth is that our bodies are speaking to us in voiceless symbols. If we can learn to interpret what they are saying, we can heal ourselves in an entirely new way. So you know that emotions sometimes get stored in your body when they are not fully expressed. Be this as it is. How do we begin to flush ourselves from them? There are a number of strategies that you can use to do this. And what matters is that it's effective for you. There is no one size fits all, but there are a few options that tend to work well for most people, particularly when they are used in tandem. Stop meditating to feel calm. Start meditating to feel, to just feel. We so busy trying to run from everything. I'm just going to go get calm. You got to get centered. But the book is saying, no, start meditation to just feel. If you sit down for a 10-minute session and try to force yourself to be relaxed and light, you are effectively doing this, the exact same type of suppression that likely gave you the need to meditate in the first place. Instead, the point of meditation is to sit idly as you experience all those feelings come up, the rage, the fear, the sadness, the overwhelming mind chatter. And in spite of how alluring or triggering it may be, you learn to stay still and not respond to it. You learn to allow these thoughts and feelings to come up and then pass by virtue of you not reacting to them. This takes practice. Then you use breath scans to find residual tension in the body. Sometimes, y'all, when I'm feeling tense, because life does happen, y'all just don't understand. Life happens. I just choose to not allow it to knock me down. It might throw me a little bit, but it don't have to knock me all the way down. And I practice that deep breathing I just showed you. I do that often, many times a day. Before I respond to some of the text messages I get, y'all, I take a deep breath. Because sometimes I'm looking at my phone like, are they for real? What? And then now I'm learning to not even respond to some messages. Because some things people are going to have to learn on their own. You have got to learn that you cannot save people from everything. You have got to learn that you have got to allow people to think for themselves. And you are not their savior. And I'm not trying to save everybody. And I'm not going to answer everything. Because now you're not even thinking for yourself. Think. Breathe. Another thing you do, and I'm just going to paraphrase these because we're going to finish this chapter, and it's already 6:51. You're not everybody's savior. But we can sweat, we can move, and we can even cry. When you're feeling like, oh, go work out, go walk, go swimming, go do water aerobics, go cry if you need to. Because crying is an emotion that releases it. It doesn't make you weak, but cry. Remember that emotional health is not the experience of being perpetually calm and happy all the time. That is not emotional health. Sometimes I'm mad, damn it. And it's okay. I ain't gonna stay mad. But sometimes I'm mad. Sometimes I'm heartbroken. Sometimes I'm sad. Sometimes, but it doesn't stay there. You don't stay there. Go walk, go work out, get in the water, go ride the bike, go take a drive, go sing a song, put on some worship, go dance, go line dance, go do something. It is the experience of allowing a range of motions, both good and bad, and not getting too stuck on either one. Similarly, mental health and self-mastery is the ability to see and feel and experience a thought without responding to it. You can what? You can do what? Self-mastery, mental health, self-mastery is the ability to see and feel and experience a thought without responding to it. I don't have to respond to everything. I felt it. It was real. But I certainly don't have to respond to everything. The response or lack thereof is where we regain our power and we reclaim our lives. You were not born to be perfect. You were not born to be happy all the time. Stop it. I just want to stop acting like you're going to be happy all the time. It's called life. And the fact that people act like, I wonder sometimes, how do you even handle life if you can't handle some of the stuff with the messages that I get? How do you handle just regular life? Life is not meant to be a big party all the time. We don't grow in the party. We grow in the planning, in the restoring, in the cleanup. But if you can commit each day to doing the work of being fully human and feeling even when you are afraid, you can transcend in a way that is truly beautiful, then you know you're on the right path. So what it really means to heal your mind? Healing your mind is not the same thing as healing your body. When you're physically wounded, you often go through a progressive linear repair. You get better until one day you're nearly back to where you were before. Healing your mind is completely different because you aren't returning to what you were before. You are gutting yourself and becoming someone entirely new. If this seems a little bit violent and harsh, it should be. Healing is not a lovely ascension into comfort and wellness to be experienced once and forevermore. Healing yourself is the most uncomfortable, disruptive, important thing you will ever do. Let me say something to y'all who want healing to be this cute little process. When a surgeon has to heal you, broken hip, broken vertebrae spine, and broken neck, and he goes to do surgery, you need to understand that surgeon is the most violent person in the whole entire world. Because when you go to see the surgeon, you know they fit to cut you. Years ago in Philadelphia, I wish I could find myself a doctor like that here in Georgia. Because I was able to go in and pay her like $300. And so I used to wear really, really big earrings. And because I wore really, really big earrings, it made my whole drag in my ear. I went to right off of Broad and Tabor Road. There was an African-American doctor. She just an in and out thing. You just come in her office, pay her the money. Remember, Paul, when I had to get my ear fixed? And what she did was in order to come to heal the ear, to fix my ear. Now, this one is kind of dragged low again. That's why I only wear this really, really light earring. And I forget to take them off at night. Okay? So what she did to fix my ear is she had to cut my earlobe all the way. She slit the ear. She numbed me with some needles. She said, now, the most violent part of this is going to be like what it sounds like, because you're going to hear it and it's going to, right? She said, you won't feel it. She slit the ear. So she had to cut me to sew it back up again. I couldn't wear any earrings or whatever for like 6 weeks. And then I have not really worn any heavy. It just comes from just the fact that it was stretched out before. But in order for you to heal, you got to get cut. Why do we think healing is going to be this pretty little process? No, it's violent. Because we're snatching a blankie from you. We're snatching the pacifier from you. It's snatching the titty out your mouth. It's snatching the umbilical cord. It's snatching the crutches. It's snatching the walker. It's snatching the cane and saying, get up and walk straight. You're healed. I am healed. Healing yourself and returning to your most natural state, which is hungry for personal freedom, irreverent to the suffocating options of others, creates without doubt, shows up without fear, and loves without stipulations and agreements and conditions. Who you truly are is at once the best version of yourself you might not have ever imagined, and the most essential version of yourself that have always been. And getting to that place, it requires a lot. Healing requires you to take an honest inventory of your grudges and aggressions and the wells of lodging and fear you've been ignoring all this time. You know, there are some people that hold grudges against other people, and you don't really hold the grudge against them. You had an unhealed issue from your past, and something that this person might have said or did triggered your unhealed thing, and now you're mad at the person, and it ain't got nothing to do with the person. It ain't got nothing to do with them. But you mad at them. You need something to blame something on someone. So you blame it on them because you don't want to take responsibility for your actions. You don't want to take responsibility for the decisions you made. So now you're mad at this person and I'm mad at them. And it ain't got nothing to do with them. You got them in a prison that they don't even know they're in. Who you truly are is at once the best version of yourself you might not have ever imagined, and the most essential version of yourself that you have always been. And getting to that place, it requires a lot. It requires that honest inventory and of your grudges and aggressions and the wells of longing and fear you've been ignoring all this time. It requires you to take stock of precisely what is wrong with your life so you can work to make it right. It requires you to be completely honest about how you really feel. And then it requires you to actually feel it. Feel it. Type it in the chat. Feel it. Healing requires you to feel the deep heartache lingering in you instead of subconsciously recreating the experiences so you have an outlet to release it. Healing is no longer trying to sanitize your experience, to cleanse it until it is made perfect. Stop trying to wipe around it. Feel it. We're trying to wipe around the mess instead of wiping the mess. Healing requires you to go through the full expression of every emotion that you cut off and buried when you decided you were no longer comfortable with it. So why do you still carry the physical weight? Because you buried it. You buried it. And I don't care how much exercise you do, you starving yourself, fasting and taking products and all of that stuff, get weight loss surgery, take shots, the whole nine. It don't matter. None of it matters if you've buried it. Because guess what's going to happen? When the thrill of the shots or the surgery or the products or the whatever, and the first 10, 15, 20, 40 pounds you lose, and then you're at a halt, it is because you buried it. Healing requires you to face every ounce of darkness within you. Within who? Within who? Within who? Healing requires you to face every ounce of darkness within you. Say me. Because just beneath what appears to be an impermeable barrier is complete, radical, total freedom. Are you ready to be free? When you are no longer scared to feel anything, when you no longer resist any part of your life, something magical happens. You find peace. Let's be clear. You are not going to suffer forever. This is not going to hurt for long. But to trick yourself into thinking that healing is getting progressively better until you have unraveled all of your past experiences, stop it with all of that. Excuses. Well, that is to miss the point entirely. We are meant to go through these periods of what some refer to as positive disintegration. It is when we must adapt our self-concept to become someone who can handle, if not thrive, in the situation that we are in. This is healthy. This is normal. This is how we are supposed to respond. But we cower because it will be uncomfortable. It will not immediately give us the virtues of what we are taught in a worthwhile life, comfort and ease, and the illusion that everything is perfect on the surface. Here's my perfect little marriage and my perfect little husband and my perfect little house and we got a dog and a cat and a fence and we got nice cars and we live in a perfect little neighborhood and everything is perfect. And you're lying. Healing is not merely what makes us feel better the fastest. It's building the right life slowly and over time. It is greeting ourselves at the reckoning, admitting where we've faltered. It is going back and resolving our mistakes and going back within ourselves and resolving the anger and fear and small mindedness that got us there in the first place. Healing is refusing to tolerate the discomfort of change because you refuse to tolerate mediocrity for 1 second longer. Say, I refuse to tolerate mediocrity 1 second longer. Say it loud. I refuse to tolerate mediocrity 1 second longer. The truth is that there is no way to escape discomfort. It finds us wherever we are. Can't go above it, around it, beneath it. You can't do it. Can't run from it. It finds us wherever we are. But we are either going to feel uneasy, pushing past our self-imposed limits, breaking boundaries and becoming who we dream of being, or we're going to feel it as we sit and mull over fears we fabricated to justify why we refuse to stand up and begin. Healing is going to be hard at first. It is going to mean looking at yourself honestly, maybe for the first time ever. Y'all want me to finish this at 7:04. We got 3 pages left. Y'all want me to finish this or y'all want me to stop? I'm gonna wait to see what the book clubbers say. If y'all want me to finish, I'll finish, but if not, I'll stop and we can come back here next week. Let's see what they say. We are well over time. And y'all know I normally keep you. I usually am done. They told me, okay, 1, 2, who else? 3, Toby, 4, 5. All right, let's finish. Healing is going to be hard at first. It's going to mean looking at yourself honestly, maybe for the first time ever. It is going to mean stepping out of your comfort zone so you can leap toward the person that you want to be. Leap. It is not what makes you feel more comfortable and idle. It is what conditions you to be more motivated by discomfort than you are scared of it. So how do we move forward? We get more motivated by the discomfort instead of being afraid of it. And inspired by your still moments more than you use them to forge the chains of worry. Healing is going to change everything. What is healing going to change? Everything. But it has to start with you being willing to feel what you are afraid to feel. Let's be clear about something. Becoming the best version of yourself is your natural inheritance. It is what you are born to do. Healing is simply releasing the sickness that is the limiting beliefs and fears that are holding you back from doing exactly that. Becoming the best version of yourself is your natural inheritance. Healing is not about going back to exactly who you were before. No, I don't want to go back to that. Because that person wasn't capable of seeing the storm before it hit. And that person didn't know how to shield themselves from it. You aren't supposed to go back to being naive, less jaded, or unaware, or more unaware. You aren't meant to just return to your blissful mindedlessness, a life in which you didn't know about that contrast of pain, all of the good, the bad, the life that can throw at you. What you get on the other side of healing is greater than that. You just haven't experienced it yet to know. What you get for going through something painful is that you become more resilient, more self-sufficient, and more empowered. You realize that nothing will save you. And so you must begin the work of saving yourself, which is the entire purpose of your life. When you begin this work, you will find your inner strength. You realize that you have the power and the influence, and you can strategize and redirect your life. You realize that instead of what you can't control, your life can be built on what you do. When you heal, you become stronger. When you've been broken, you become grounded. Where you've been egotistic, you become responsible. Where you've been neglectful, you become sensitive and able and conscious. You become more considerate. You become more empathetic. You are more mindful, more careful. But what you don't need to be is afraid. Fear is not going to protect you. Action is. I want y'all to write that in the chat. Fear will not protect you. Action will. Which is why the word says faith without works is dead. Fear will not protect you. Action will. Worrying is not going to protect you. Preparing is. Overthinking is not going to protect you. Understanding is. So action, preparing, and understanding are the things that will protect you. When you hold on to fear and pain after something traumatic has passed, we do it as a sort of a safety net. We falsely believe that if we constantly remind ourselves of all the terrible things that we didn't see coming, we can avoid them. Not only does this not work, but it also makes you less efficient at responding to them if they do, because most of the time you're so busy worrying about monsters in the closet, you forget to address the actual things that will erode you over time. Your health, your relationships, your long-term vision, your finances, your thoughts. When you heal completely, you stop tolerating discomfort. Hello, somebody. When you heal completely, you're going to stop tolerating being broke and broken. When you heal completely, you'll stop tolerating remaining unhealthy and overweight. Blood pressure meds, sugar diabetes, all of those cholesterol issues. When you get completely healed, when something is wrong, you recognize that it is wrong and you take action to fix it because you've seen what happens when you don't. When you don't fix it, you get stuck and trapped in a body that you're like, what heck in the matter? What has happened? Fear will not protect you. When you heal completely, you are able to think ahead and rationally consider the cause and the effect. You recognize that your actions will generate results. Your actions will generate results. If you want to better control the outcomes of your life, you have to better adjust your habits. When you heal completely, you realize that there is nothing more important than being able to enjoy where you are right here, right now. See, let me tell you what I want for each and every one of the book clubbers, right? Every single one of you diamonds that are here. What I want for you is I want you to begin to enjoy life right here, right now. But so many of you are stuck in the past. You're stuck in the past, and I can see it because you're wearing it. You're stuck in the bad choices. You're stuck in a bad relationship. You're stuck in a bad breakup. You're stuck in the bad habits. You're stuck in a childhood trauma, chaos. You're stuck there, and you're wearing it. And I cannot wait for you to get to 2024 so you can enjoy life right here, right now, in the moment today. That's what I want for you. When you heal completely, you realize there's nothing more important than that. Whatever obstructions are in the way of being present and savoring your life are the challenges that you have to face because life is quick and it's temporary. What do you want to do? Wait till you get 90 to let it go? Let it go right now. You're already 50. Half your life is gone. Let it go. Right now. Life is quick. It's temporary. What you have now, you could lose tomorrow. And gripping it so tightly, binding it with resistance, doesn't make it safer. It means that when the day comes, then it passes, as does everything, as does everyone. You will realize you never really enjoyed it. And healing, it's about going to a place where you prioritize nothing over the quality of your one short life. When are you going to stop not prioritizing this one short life? Moving forward isn't about getting revenge. Your glow might not be something others can see. It might not come across as a shift on the surface. In a world of revenge, bodies, and comeback relationships, a world that tries to tell you that the ultimate transformation should be played out across the Instagram feed, we've lost what it really means to heal, to improve, to move on with our lives. The real glow up isn't proving the people from your past wrong. It isn't finally feeling so content and hopeful about your future that you stop thinking about them entirely. When you want to change your life, it looks so different. And only that, you are still orbiting around the opinions of people who didn't love you and didn't have any intention to. You can always tell the difference too. People who have truly transformed are not concerned solely with how things appear. Their lives are now focused intently on how things feel, how they really are underneath it all. A real glow up is authentic. It is lifting off all the cover-up BS and addressing the real problems. It is healing. It is changing for good. It is for the first time prioritizing your heart over someone else's eyes. Anyone can piece together an image that looks better. Anyone can edit and filter and lay a picture after picture side by side to create a narrative, a story, a semblance of the whole. Anyone can buy their way into beauty. Anyone can look nicer if they really try to. Anyone can convince you that they are doing better than they really are. If they are so intent on trying to prove that, it is probably because they are still so empty inside. What if they weren't worried about whether or not you look bigger or smaller or nicer or better than you did 10 years ago? What if you were more concerned about whether or not you gain self-respect in real relationships, emotional freedom, mental clarity, a job you appreciate, work you respect, a kinder and more empathetic disposition? What if your accomplishments were not something you could photograph or measure, nothing you could loosely try to communicate across some pixels and status updates? How are you feeling today? Better than you did yesterday? More whole, more confident? The truth is that there is no better or before and after in life. We are always in the process of shedding and becoming. That snapshot moment you're waiting for, that instance in which someone dares to look you up again and sees finally that you are thriving, it's a game for you and you alone. Nobody is looking at you the way you think that they are. Nobody cares, ma'am and sir. Nobody is thinking about you the way you wish they would. They are looking at themselves. They are thinking about themselves. They are reading themselves. This isn't sad. It's freeing. Free. Get free. I am healed. Delete all. This should be the crux of your ultimate liberation. The truth is that you have nobody to prove wrong but yourself. The people from your past probably didn't disapprove of you nearly as much as you feared that they did. This closure is for you. This growth is for you. Say it's for me. This change is yours. This is you versus you, meeting you, seeing you for the first time. This is about you becoming who you know you can be. This is about you finally living up to your potential. But mostly this is about you recognizing that you were not your best self before. You didn't behave this way you wish you would have. You didn't do what you should have. You weren't what you hope you'd be. Whenever you want desperately to prove someone else wrong, we are really trying to quell over our lingering disappointment that we didn't live up to our own expectations. So remember this as we close. The next time you're trying to craft a glow up story that is compelling to others, ask yourself, why are you still waiting for their approval? The answer almost always is that you still do not have your own. Woo! Thus ends chapter 5. We are walking right through this book, y'all. We got 2 more chapters left. Next week, we will deal with building your new future. And then chapter 7, it will be from self-sabotage to self-mastery. Wow. So let me see y'all light up that chat with fire. If this book is just the bombdiggity.com, we'll probably spend 2 weeks on chapter 6, and then we'll probably spend 2 weeks on chapter 7. So we'll be done. The Mountain is You by mid-July. Granted, if we don't miss a week, we'll be done. The Mountain is You by mid-July. And I will tell you after the next 2 readings, the next book that I believe that we are going to go ahead and tackle. Hoping that you found value in today. It was heavy. Take a deep breath. It was heavy. It was good heavy. It was good heavy. It was powerful. It was liberating. It was free. Delete all. And remember that you are healed. So let's enjoy the rest of our evening. Enjoy the rest of our week, you guys. Pay it forward. Do a good deed. Be kind to one another. Make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel. If this was your first time I saw Ms. Barbara, thank you so much for joining us. She's a newbie, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I pray that you come back next week. I hope that this doesn't scare you off. This book is a deep one. But I believe that it is so necessary for this season that we're all in our lives so that we can defeat this mountain of self-sabotage, because the mountain really is us. It's me. It's nobody else. It's me. It's me, it's me, it's me, oh Lord, right? Standing in the need of prayer, not my mother, not my father, but it's me, oh Lord, right? It's me. And we're going to defeat this battle, this mountain of self-sabotage, so that we come out a very different person on the other side of this book. All right. So make sure you subscribe to Nina Armora, the Wellness Queen. I am your Wellness Queen, right? I want you to get well and get wealthy, right? Get well, get wealthy. That is my heart's desire for you. Make sure that you also go to my website, ninamora.com, and subscribe there as well. You get a free gift in your email. Just a little gift from me, a journal that will help you to along your journey of personal wellness and development, personal development and wellness. Follow me, you guys. If you're looking to get your bodies right, I'm your girl. Let me help you, right? And make sure that you Join us every single Monday. But remember to pay it forward, do a good deed, be kind to one another, be nice to someone. And I want you to remember that God loves you, I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Good night, and God bless you all.